Okay, so we are done now discussing kinematics of particles. We will now start the discussion for kinetics of particles. We have here equation of motion, rectangular coordinates. The learning objectives are, we're going to revisit Newton's three laws of motion and Newton's law of gravitation, identify and apply Newton's second law to kinetic problems involving the motion of one particle or a system of particles, summarize step-by-step problem-solving strategy using kinetic diagram and rectangular coordinate system. Let's first look at the Newton's first law of motion. For a particle subjected to a force, if the sum of the forces vector equals to 0, then the acceleration of the object, which equals to the resultant force over the mass of the object, will be also equal to 0. When we say equilibrium, it means that an object will remain its original state of motion, rest, or moving at constant velocity in a straight line if there is no unbalanced force acting on it. But if the force acting on an object will have a non-zero resultant force, then the resultant force will be equal to mass times acceleration. This is known as the equation of motion. It can be represented by a kinetic diagram. The vector mass times acceleration is what we call the inertia force, since it is equivalent to the force vector. So it can be rewritten this way to show the acceleration will be the result of the unbalanced force from this formula. So with a non-zero acceleration, the object is doing accelerated motion. Therefore, it will be represented by summation of force over mass. And this is the most fundamental law that will be used in dynamics. When we say accelerated motions, it means that the acceleration of the movement of an object is proportional to the resultant force and is also in the same direction of the resultant force. So it means that the resultant force, same direction with the inertia force in terms of kinetic diagram. We know that the Newton's third law of motion means that if there's an action, there comes a reaction. The force of action and reaction between two objects are equal, collinear, and opposite. In Newton's law of gravitation, the gravitational attraction forces between any two objects are equal and opposite. But we do feel that the gravitational force exerted by Earth to us, we follow the same equation for the gravitational force, but substitute a constant Earth's radius and mass and collect all constant to be one constant, which is represented by small letter g. And in this part, you are much more familiar with small letter g, which is approximately the constant of gravitation of the Earth we use, which is 9.81 meter per second squared for SI unit system and 32.2 per second squared for US customary system. Note that since the radius of the Earth does vary from location to location, so this g constant is only an approximation theoretically, but it is a good enough approximation in most cases. This will be the general procedure for problem solving equation of motion. First step, select a convenient inertial coordinate system if we will use rectangular, normal, tangential, or cylindrical coordinate system. And upon identifying, we will now create the free body diagram showing all the forces as shown in figure below. But sometimes, instead of applying step 1, we sometimes apply first step 2 before applying step 1. You will see that in some of our examples later. And step 3, we will now draw the equivalent kinetic diagram showing the particle's inertia force MA, which has the same direction with the resultant force from the free body diagram. Step 4, we will now apply the equation of motion in their scalar component. In scalar components, which means in rectangular components, we will have different representation, likewise in normal, tangential coordinates and cylindrical coordinates. Fifth step, identify the unknown and solve the equation for the unknowns. And step 6, it may be necessary to still be familiar with kinematic relation or the basic kinematic equation, likewise the basic kinematic equation for constant acceleration, because some problems still uses the kinematic relation to generate additional equation. If step 1 to step 5 is not sufficient to solve the problem. So we will discuss first rectangular coordinate system wherein the summation of force is equals to mass times acceleration, which is the general second law of motion. This is vector quantity. In order to solve the scalar components in terms of scalar quantity, we will use the xyz axis since we refer to a rectangular coordinate system. Therefore, the summation force has three equations that uses x, y, and z for 3 dimension and x and y for 2 dimensions. For the systems of particles, the equation of motion can be applied to a system of particles. So when you draw the free body diagram, make sure that you only include forces that are external. We do not include internal forces. The bodies or the object we use are rigid bodies, not deformable body. Then the equation of motion can be rewritten as the summation of force will be equal to the summation of mass or total mass multiplied by the acceleration. And take note that the acceleration is represented as the acceleration at the mass center of the system. So let's have an example. Example 1, the three toy cars with mass mark connected together is being pulled by horizontal force magnitude F with a value of 3.5 Newton. And we are asked to determine the acceleration of the car as well as the force between A and B. And we are asked to neglect friction. Therefore, we will not calculate for the frictional force. So, based from the step-by-step procedure, first we are asked to find or to identify the free body diagram. We know that the applied force is 3.5 Newton along the horizontal. And the second step from the procedure is creating the free body diagram. And the forces involved in these free body diagrams are the total weight of the object based on its mass, which will be known as the total weight, and also the normal force. And since we neglect friction, so we will not calculate for the frictional force. So the drawn free body diagram, as you notice, this is a system of particles. Therefore, we don't calculate for the internal force. We consider the three masses A, B, and C as one whole system of particles. So therefore, we consider them as no internal forces. Kaya kinalculate natin total weight, total normal force. So sometimes yung normal force nandito siya. So sometimes nandito yung weight. And based from this force F horizontal, wherein this has a ground which is a smooth surface since it doesn't have a frictional force. Therefore, the kinetic diagram based from the inertia force will have total mass times acceleration. So that is step 3. So sometimes step 1 is skipped since we can change the coordinate according to the motion of the object. We easily solve the problem. So therefore, instead of applying to the right and upward positive, we will use a coordinate system to the left and upward positive. So that will be our solution process. So we will now start the solution process. So we are done with step 1, 2, 3. So we will now go to step 4. We are now going to create the equation of motion. According to the equation of motion for scalar components, since vector quantity involved summation force equals to mass times acceleration. So for scalar quantity, the components x, y, z, since this is in 2 dimensions, so we don't have z, so we will only use the summation force is equals to ma sub x and summation force equals to ma sub y. And we now have the free body diagram, and take note that the kinetic diagram involves the total mass times acceleration moving horizontal, since our object moves in horizontal motion with a smooth surface. For the horizontal, so let's have first along x direction. We said that from the coordinates, this will be positive. So you can use this as positive, or mas kinasanayan ni ma'am na ganito ang arrow positive. So we will have the summation force along x. The forces along horizontal, we only have one force, which is the applied force, which will be equated to mass times acceleration along x, wherein we use the total mass. Do we have acceleration along x? Yes, we have, since the motion of the object is along the horizontal. So along horizontal, the value of the applied force from the given, we have 3.5 Newton, and the total mass, so we have 0.15 plus 0.1 plus 0.1 kilogram multiplied by a sub x. Therefore, we will be able to identify the value of a sub x. And upon calculating, since this is 0.35, so this will be 10 meter per second squared. Since we were able to calculate a value of positive 10 meter per second squared, it means that our assumption of the direction is correct. So therefore, we have to the left. direction. We are already done with the summation force along x. So now we will have here the summation of force along y. So we have here the total weight, which is negative since we established upward positive, plus the total normal force is equals to total mass times acceleration along y. But if you notice, the direction of our kinetic diagram only moves to horizontal. Therefore, acceleration along y is 0. And you will realize that this equation is now a statics equation, wherein the result is the total weight will be equal to the total normal force. So we are done finding the acceleration, but in the problem, we are also asked to find the force between A and B. Between A and B. Since on the first solution process, we identified these systems of particles as one whole system. Now, we need to separate each system, A, B, and C. And since we are asked to find the force between A and B, we will use the first part of the particle in order to establish that the internal force between A and B will become external force F sub AB. Likewise, we will now identify what are the other forces that will be involved. Since we have mass at A, therefore we will also have weight at A. Likewise, normal force at A. Okay, so don't be confused, class. The location are just different based from the figure. So now, since we are finding for the unknown force AB, and if you recall from our kinetic diagram that this is our mass times acceleration, therefore based from our axis, this is along x. So therefore, our summation force along y will still be the same from earlier, which will be negative weight or total weight since we established upward positive, plus the normal total weight will also be equal to 0 since the direction is only along the horizontal. So now we will solve the summation force along x, which is equals to mass times acceleration. Take note, mass of A, and this will be along horizontal as positive. So what are the force along x? The force along the horizontal, establishing to the left positive, we will have force minus, since to the right AB will be equal to mass of A is 0.15, and the acceleration along horizontal is our calculated acceleration from earlier, which is 10 meter per second squared. Substituting the value of F, which is 3.5 Newton, we will be able to calculate for force AB, and the calculated result is a positive value, which is 2 Newton. Therefore, our established direction, which is to the right from earlier, so therefore, this will have a to the right direction. So that's how we calculate applying rectangular coordinates for the equation of motion. In continuation with the equation of motion, we will now discuss normal and tangential coordinates. The learning objectives are identify and apply equation of motion, solve particle kinetic problems using normal and tangential coordinates. Before we discuss the normal and tangential coordinate system, so please always be familiar with our rectangular coordinate system. And please take note, normal and tangential coordinate system are used if our object moves either in 2-dimension or 3-dimension. Since the axis, normal and tangential, is always fixed on the particle. So therefore, if the particle moves, so does the axis. And for the normal and tangential, we will use the equation along the tangential and along the normal axis, which will be represented by a sub t for the acceleration along the tangential and a sub n along the normal axis. So, if you recall from rectangular coordinate system, we use max, may, mass. For normal and tangential, we will use mat, man. And the summation force along the binormal direction will be equated to 0, which is similar to statics. The summation force will be 0. What do you mean by the term binormal direction? It is the axis perpendicular to the two axes. Let's have an example. So I know you're familiar with this curve. If you recall from our previous discussion, we only focus on the motion. Now we will include the forces. So this problem will be solved similarly since the procedure given for equation of motion are applicable to the three subtopics, which are the rectangular coordinates, the normal tangential coordinates, and the cylindrical coordinate system. So based from this example, we have a 10 kilogram crate that travels travels. So it means that this refers to mass travels along a smooth slope as shown if at the point shown, which is at x equals to 60 meters, the speed is 20 meter per second. Determine the normal force, and the normal force is not an upward force in this representation. It will be a normal force perpendicular to the slope. Since we know that the normal force is the force exerted by the surface, which is exerted by this. So don't forget that the velocity, it doesn't move to the upward direction, it moves downward, which is 20 meter per second. And also we are asked to find what is the acceleration. So since we are discussing normal and tangential, it means that we are going to find for the tangential acceleration and normal acceleration. But please take note, we will use the representation a sub t u sub t plus a sub n u sub n. And in order to find the magnitude, we apply Pythagorean theorem. So let's now solve the given problem. Now first apply the first procedure, which is identifying the reference axis that we will use, and that will be the tangential and normal axis before drawing the free body diagram. What are the free body diagram? That will be the weight force. Take note, this is perpendicular not with the surface or the slope. It will be perpendicular to the ground. So that would be the weight force and the normal force. And based from the problem, it states that it travels along a smooth slope. Therefore, there is no frictional force at the surface. So therefore, friction force is 0. So it means we now have a free body diagram. We can now proceed to step 3. That will be creating the kinetic diagram. The kinetic diagram will now move along the tangential and normal direction. So this will have mass times acceleration along normal axis and mass times acceleration along tangential axis. So that will be our kinetic diagram. So since we now have all the representation, so we can now solve the given problem by applying the summation force along tangential will be mass times acceleration along tangential, and the summation force along normal will be mass times acceleration along normal. And it states that the summation force along the binormal will be equated to 0. And since our equation involves only in 2 dimension, not in a 3D motion, we will only use these 2 equations. But before we proceed with finding the equation, which is step 4, we need first to identify if all our forces, likewise the inertia force, are already along the axis of tangential and normal. And as you notice, the weight is still not along the normal and tangential axis. Using this derived representation of free body diagram and kinetic diagram using the angle theta, so recheck nyo lang upon rotation of the theta, we can now create the equation. The summation force along tangential and the summation force along normal. Mass times acceleration and normal. So let's have first the representation along normal axis. Since we have here at the inclined, let's say inclined upward to the left as positive, so we will have the summation force along normal. What are the forces along normal? So we have the normal force, and you notice that W sub n is to the right, so that would be negative W cosine theta, which is equal to mass times acceleration along normal. And for the summation force along tangential, inclined downward positive, so that would be W sine theta equals to mass times acceleration along the tangential. So we now have the step 1 to 4. So based from this equation, let's identify what are all the given and what are all the unknowns. So for n is unknown, W is given using the mass of the crate, which is 10 kilogram. Therefore, we will use the gravitational acceleration approximately 9.81 meter per second square. We don't know the angle theta, but we can calculate that later. Likewise, we don't know theta, and we don't know for a sub n, but we can calculate a sub n equals to p squared over rho. Why did we use rho? We use rho since our given is y, which is a function of x. This function of x is not in terms of function of time, so therefore we can get the slope of the equation, which is the first derivative of this given function of x. Since this slope can be solved using rise over run, or it can be represented as dy and dx. Since we can calculate for rho, we will solve for a sub n. And we already know that the velocity along the tangential is 20 meter per second from this given problem. For rho can be calculated as 1 plus y prime squared raised to 3 halves all over y double prime. We know that the first derivative of this given equation from our previous discussion, we've been able to get the value of 38x raised to 1 half. And we know that the second derivative, we've been able to get 316x raised to negative 1 half. And upon substitution at x, which is 16 meters, we've been able to get that y prime, or the slope, is 1.5. And also for the second derivative, we will be able to get 3 over 64. And substituting, rho is equals to 1 plus 1.5 squared raised to 3 halves all over 3 over 64. So we've been able to get 124.9 meters. So I will just round up, which is 125. So since we have velocity, so this will be 20 squared over 125. So a sub n will be equal to 3.2 meter per second squared. Likewise, we can also solve for angle theta. Since we have y prime, if you recall, y prime is equals to dy over dx, which is rise over run, which is equals to sine theta over cosine theta, or simply tangent theta. So since this is 1.5, so therefore arctangent of 1.5 will be equal to angle theta, and theta will be 56.3 degrees. So that is how we calculate it from previous discussion, since we have the same given slope but different velocity, likewise different direction, and it already now involves forces for this discussion. So, pakita natin, this is the angle theta. This is how we solve for rho. And a sub n, which is 3.2 meter per second. So, let's recall now the equation. So, since we now have the equation, let's again identify all the unknowns. N is still unknown. Weight from our mass, which is 10 kilogram, multiplied by the gravitational acceleration, approximately 9.81 meter per second squared. So, we will have the value of 98.1, or we can just simply use mass 10 times 9.81 cosine, and from the calculated angle theta, which is 56.3 degrees, which is equals to mass, which is 10 kilogram, times. Take note, E sub n is our calculated E sub n earlier from b squared over rho, which is 20 squared over 125, which is 3.2 meter per second squared. So that would be 3.2. In this representation, we can directly solve for n, and n will be 86.4 Newton. And for tangential, we will have 10 times 9.81 sine 56.3 degrees equals to 10 kilogram, which is mass, times a sub t. A sub t is unknown. So therefore, we can solve also for a sub t. That would be 8.16 meter per second square. So we are now done finding the normal force, likewise the value for acceleration a sub t. And based on the problem, we are asked to find a sub t and a sub n to calculate for the magnitude of acceleration. So to solve, we will apply Pythagorean theorem, and you already know how to apply Pythagorean theorem. We will be able to get the acceleration, 8.77 meter per second squared. Our last topic for the equation of motion will be cylindrical coordinates. The learning objectives is to identify and apply equation of motion, which is the Newton's second law of motion, to solve particle kinetic problems using cylindrical coordinates. Before we discuss cylindrical coordinates, please recall that in rectangular components, we use the summation of force equals to mass times acceleration along x for x component, and for y is acceleration along y, likewise for z. And for normal tangential coordinates, we use summation along tangential. We also have along normal. We also have along the binormal, which is equal to 0. So for cylindrical coordinates, we will use similar from our kinematics. We will use the axis r for radial coordinate, theta for transverse, and z axis. So aside from using r u sub r and z u sub a as the position vector of the particle, we will now include the acceleration along radial coordinate, along transverse, and along z axis. So the equation using mass times acceleration equated to summation of force will be mass times acceleration along radial, along transverse, and along z axis. But please take note from our previous discussion from cylindrical coordinates, you need to still be familiar with r, which is r u sub r plus z u sub z. Likewise for the velocity, which is b sub r u sub r, b sub theta u sub theta plus b sub z u sub z. B sub r is r dot, b sub theta is r theta dot, and b sub z is z dot. Why do we need to still be familiar with this from our cylindrical coordinates? Because we need to find for the acceleration, which is a sub r u sub r plus a sub theta u sub theta plus a sub z u sub z, wherein a sub r is represented as r double dot minus r theta dot squared, and a sub theta r theta double dot plus 2r dot theta dot, and a sub z, which is say double dot. This representation are for the 3 dimension. So we have here 2 dimension. So we have a sub r, a sub theta. And aside from that, in this cylindrical coordinate system, there will be an additional representation of the angle psi. What is angle psi? This angle psi is made by the positive radial axis and the tangential line. Why? If you recall from the discussion, the particle always has a fixed axis that moves with the particle. And that axes are known as the tangential axis and the normal axis. And tangential axis and normal axis doesn't always fall along the radial and transverse coordinate. So which means possibly this will be the direction for the normal axis. And doon pumapasok si psi. How do we calculate for psi? Based from the given equation, if we have r represented as function of theta or the function of the transverse, we can solve for psi as the arctangent or tangent raised to negative 1 r all over the derivative of r with respect to theta. So this will be the additional equation. You will understand that if we now create the free body diagram based on a given problem. So let's have this given problem. So if you recall, the given problem has similarity. However, our previous problem only involved a ball that moves horizontal and it starts from vertical. So if you see in our given problem, our object is now from horizontal and it moves to a counterclockwise. So they have the same motion, which is counterclockwise. So we will not focus on this. We will not focus on this equation. So example 1, we have a ball which is 1 kilogram. So take note, 1 kilogram. This will be our mass. Is being pushed by the rod to move in a horizontal groove. If you notice, when we say horizontal groove, it means it is on the ground. So therefore, the gravitational acceleration will not take effect. Why? If you recall, if this is our ground and we have this vertical representation, dito yung gravitational acceleration. Kung nandito sa horizontal yung, so walang epekto yung gravitational acceleration in creating the forces for our free body diagram. It starts from theta equals to 0 degrees and we are asked to determine the force the rod exerted on the ball. So, if we pertain to the rod, so ibig sabihin kung ito ay perpendicular, dito din perpendicular. So, ito yung unknown. If at this instant, the rod moves at an angular speed, so ang angular speed daw ay 1 rod per second and the angular acceleration is 2 rad per second squared. So it means we will not apply the derivative, which is finding the time derivative from the transverse coordinate, which is theta. And on the problem, it also states that the ball is only in contact with the outside surface. So let's now solve the given problem. So based on this given problem, first we need to identify the reference line since it starts at 0 degrees. So this will be our reference line as a point of origin O. And as it moves, we know that if this object moves, this will be r and this will be theta. So this will be our representation for the first step, which is the radial coordinates and the transverse coordinates since we have a two-dimension. So walang z-axis. So in order to draw the free body diagram, so we will have the force exerted by the rod, and sabi daw, nandito daw siya sa surface ng outer layer ng groove. So therefore, we have the normal force exerted by the groove. Ma'am, why do we have a normal force? Kasi if we don't have the groove, the tendency of the ball will be to move far from the circle or the circular motion. So in order to avoid that, we have a groove. So let's now create the free body diagram. So for the free body diagram, we already know the forces involved. We don't have the force or the weight force since from earlier, we already explained the gravitational acceleration doesn't take effect on the given figure since our two-dimension is on the ground. So therefore, we will now have this free body diagram with force which is exerted by the rod. And since we have a normal force, therefore, we will also include the normal and tangential axis since normal force is along the normal axis. And we don't know if the normal axis coincides on either of these two axes, which is the r and theta. Since we already know that tangential axis is always tangent to the path, and since our path is the outer curve, so we will have this as tangent line or the tangential axis. And the perpendicular axis to the tangent line is what we call normal axis, wherein in this normal axis, the normal force falls. So we now have the free body diagram. Likewise, we will now create the kinetic diagram, and our kinetic diagram only includes R and transverse. So we now have the step 1, 2, and 3. So next step, we cannot move to step 4 yet. Why? We will include now the calculation for psi, which is the arctangent of r over dr over d theta. So how do we solve for dr over d theta? From this problem, we now have r, which is 2 cosine theta, which is in meter. And based from the given earlier, the angle theta is at 15 degrees. So therefore, we can solve for r, and r will be 2 cosine 15 degrees. So based from this representation, we now have r. So using the equation, let's identify if r is already a function of theta, and you can see that r is already a function of theta. We can now solve for dr with respect to d theta, which is now the first derivative of function theta. And from this representation, that would be the derivative of r, which is 2 cosine theta with respect to d theta. And since we have constant, so that would be 2 derivative of cosine theta with respect to d theta. So that would be 2. The derivative of cosine is negative sine theta. Take note, d theta over d theta, kaya ito cancelled out as 1. So we will now have the first derivative of function of theta, which is now dr over d theta. That would be negative 2 sine at angle 15 degrees. We have 15 degrees. So we can now solve for psi. So that would be psi tan raised to negative 1. So r is 2 cosine 15 degrees all over negative 2 sine 15 degrees. So upon calculation, we will be able to get that psi is negative 75 degrees. That's how we've been able to get this angle, negative 75 degrees. And since the angle is negative 75 degrees, the angle which is 75 degrees falls clockwise direction kasi negative yung nakalculate. natin. So, using this representation, we can now find all the equation of motion since we now have psi. So, from the equation of motion, we can now solve for the summation force along R, summation force along theta. We will not use the summation force along Z, which is ma sub z, since our equation falls in a two-dimensional space. So for the summation force, this will be ma sub r, ma sub theta. So for the representation along r, we can say that upward to the right positive, so that would be summation force along r equals to, what are the forces? N sub r, and along the transverse, we have F, and also yung ating N sub theta. And for the angles, let's have a clear representation of all the angles. So this is 75 degrees, so this is 90 degrees, so therefore this angle here is also 15 degrees. Likewise, this is also 15 degrees. And since this is 90 degrees, so 90 degrees minus 15 degrees, so this is also 75 degrees. And since this representation of r and tangent, so therefore this is also 75 degrees. And since we have a representation of 90 degrees plus 75, therefore, the angle here is also 15 degrees. So what we will use is now the angle 75 in this representation. Why? We have here the n sub theta, and if you reflect this one, we will be able to reflect that this will be n sub r, which is opposite to the angle that we will use, which is 75 degrees. So the summation force along the radial axis will be, since we established that inclined upward to the right as positive, so there will be negative n sine 75 degrees, which will be equal to mass times acceleration along the radial. So for the summation force along the transverse axis or coordinate, we will use inclined to the left upward. So we will use force F. So this is the force exerted by the rod. So we will have minus n cosine 75 degrees, which is equals to mass times acceleration along the transverse coordinate. If you recall, a sub r and a sub theta can only be calculated if we know the value of r double dot minus r theta dot squared, and for a sub theta, r theta double dot plus 2r dot theta dot. And we already know the value for the theta. Theta is 15 degrees, and the angular speed, which is theta dot, or known as d theta over dt, is already given with values of 1 rad per second, and the angular acceleration theta double dot, which is the second derivative of the transverse with respect to time, so which is 2 rad per second. So what we don't know is the r double dot, so we need to solve for that. So we now have r, which is 2 cosine theta. So theta is 15 degrees, so we will substitute the values later. So at theta 15 degrees. So first, let's solve for the derivative. So we have r dot. R dot will be dr over dt, 2 derivative of cosine theta with respect to time. Take note, it differs from earlier. Why? The derivative of cosine u with respect to dx is negative sine u du over dx. So since our representation earlier is both theta, that's why we canceled out. So now, for this one, we cannot cancel out the theta. So we will have 2 times negative sine theta d theta over dt. So therefore, r dot is equals to negative 2 sine theta theta dot, kasi ito ay theta dot. Next, we can now solve for r double dot. How do we solve for r double dot? That would be negative 2 derivative of sine theta theta dot with respect to dt, since this is second derivative of r with respect to time. So we will apply product rule from calculus. So this will be derivative of ub. So u db over dx plus b du over dx. So r double dot will be negative 2 sine theta d theta dot over dt plus theta dot derivative of sine theta over dt. So simplifying r double dot, we will have negative 2. So this becomes sine theta. Derivative of theta dot over dt is theta double that, since this becomes derivative at squared over dt squared, which is double that. Since theta dot is d theta over dt, kaya second derivative, plus theta dot derivative of sine theta is cosine theta d theta over dt. So this is theta dot. To simplifying, r double dot will be negative 2 sine theta double dot, and negative 2 cosine theta dot squared, kasi theta dot times theta dot is theta dot squared. So we now have the representation for r dot, and r double dot. So we now have here r dot, r double dot, wherein the angle theta is 15 degrees, r dot is 1 rad per second, double dot is 2 rad per second squared. So substituting, we will be able to get 1.9132, and r dot, we will have this representation. Likewise for double dot, take note, this is meter, this will be meter per second, this will be meter per second squared, this is rad per second squared, sometimes known as per second squared, sometimes s raised to negative 1, s raised to negative 2, for this representation of angular speed and angular acceleration. So we can now solve for a sub r and a sub theta. So a sub r is r double dot minus r theta dot squared, and substituting the values of double dot, which is negative 2.967 minus r 1.932, theta dot is 1 squared. So this has a unit of meter per second squared, this has a unit of meter, and this has a unit of rad per second raised to squared. So since rad is unitless, so we will have the result here as meter per second squared. So a sub r becomes negative 4.899. Likewise for this one, so we have a sub theta, we have r theta double dot plus 2r dot theta dot. The representation of r is 1.932. Theta double dot is 2 plus 2 times r dot as negative 0.5176, and theta dot is 1. So this has a unit of meter, and this has a unit of rad per second squared, plus 2 is constant. So this has a unit of meter per second, this has a unit of rad per second. Since rad are all unitless, this has a unit of meter per second squared. So solving, so we will be able to get this value. So dun pa lang natin maa-apply yung nakuha nating equation of motion, kasi nakakalculate pa lang natin yung a sub r and a sub theta. And we already know that the value of mass is 1 kilogram for the ball. Okay, so let's now solve negative n. So this becomes negative n sine 75 degrees is equals to mass times a sub r is negative 4.899. Therefore, we will be able to get the value n, which is 5.07 Newton. And we can solve now for force F, which is the unknown. Yun yung pinapahanap. The force exerted by the rod. Since N pertains to the normal force exerted by the surface of the outer part of the circle. So force, so N, so 5.07 from the calculated value. Cosine 75 degrees times mass, which is 1 times 0.8, so force become 4.14 Newton. So that will be the answer for this problem. So we are now done discussing equation of motion, which is the kinetics of particles. In the kinetics of particles, we also have the principles of work and energy, likewise the impulse and momentum. So those are the kinetics. So included siya after ng equation of motion. Okay, so that ends our discussion for equation of motion. Thank you.